Yeah, happy to be Jordan. Happy to be joined by Jordan, otherwise known as Windsor. Man, how have things been?
And great. I mean, it was July weekend, so that was chill. I'm actually up in Northern California right now, where I'm originally
Nice.
from.
Amazing. I guess
Yeah.
let's start with the easiest place, man. Like, if you were describing your music to someone who's never heard it before, how would you kind of place it into a genre, and how would you describe it?
Um, I think in like really simple terms, the intersection of indie rock and alternative is where people describe it. But I like to describe it as, in my own poetic terms, I would say it's music for sunset drives. It's a little bit cinematic, organic sounds with like a rock band sort of undertone, really diary entry kind of emotive stories about my life, and yeah, poetic verses and some dreamy soundscapes.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, I think I feel like that's pretty accurate. And, having listened through a bunch of it kind of in lead up to this, I think it's a pretty good description of it. I always struggle with that myself, describing music to other people. So, like, was music big in your family growing up? Did you have inspiration through somebody in your family, or you kind of found music in your own way?
Well, I grew up in a musical household. Like my mom plays the piano, my dad played guitar kind of amateurly, like could play Rolling Stones covers and stuff.
Right.
But it was sort of how I found community in my hometown of Santa Cruz. There was like a lot of DIY sort of punk venue spaces, house shows and stuff. And when I was a teenager, I really fell into that community because there was surfers and skaters, and then the sort of intersection of that was these DIY house parties that my high school band would play, and
Nice.
everyone's setting up in a living room underneath the chandelier and sort of culminating and congregating in this way.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, I don't think the music scene, I grew up in a small town. The music scene was more like garage band type situations. Everybody played, if you had a band, you played out of like your parents' garage, and tried to get a gig every now and again. Um, so a little different, but, still kind of the same. Everybody just kind of finding their own space to, make some music.
Hmm.
If you so give me one, maybe modern artist and maybe one throwback artist that your music or your sound is a little bit inspired by.
Modern and like how old? How old we
As old as you
talking?
want to go. I mean, I'm 34, so I don't know, the 80s, 70s, somewhere in there.
Okay. Oh, 80s. Okay. Well, I guess old artists I always go back to is like Radiohead. I think new artist. Oh man. I've been in a Beatles phase recently, but I think like definitely old artists would be like Radiohead, Ivy Star, um, and then new artist would be so tough to pick a new artist because there's so many good ones right
Yeah,
now. Honestly, I went and I saw Flip Turn live recently. We've been internet friends for a really long time, and that
yeah,
was moving. They
right.
moved me.
Yeah,
So I really love their new record a lot. And yeah, I think
yeah. I
those are
mean,
two of my faves recently. Oh my God, you
perfect.
have
Yeah,
their record in the
yeah, yeah.
background
I
in the
love flip
image.
turn, so I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you finally decided you were gonna, do like your own project, where did Windsor come from? Where'd the name come from?
It came from the street I grew up on in Santa Cruz.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
the first EP that I put out, Where the Redwoods Meet the Sea, was sort of this almost like a concept record about growing up there and growing up in a small beach town in Northern California. And I needed to come up with a name, and I wanted to pay homage to my roots.
Amazing.
And so the name and the EP title kind of came together as one. And then I just felt like it was a good name that no one had.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I think it's yeah, like you said, I think it's a perfect, payback to where you're from and what kind of, raised you and made you. And yeah, I love it, genuinely. So you have your first studio album out, self-titled. First off, congratulations on releasing it. That's an
Thank
accomplishment
you.
in its own right. Can you talk about just like the backstory of the album and maybe the feelings kind of encapsulated inside it?
Yeah. So in 2023, I put out a few singles and then I started to begin to write the album. It was just felt time. And I went into this period of like hyper creativity, which I'm really grateful to have had. I went up north again, where the project began, and wrote songs in the woods. Um, and I started during that time, I'd been in therapy, kind of healing some past traumas of my childhood, um, some episodes of abandonment that I had experienced with my
Yeah.
father, and my mental health journey. And in that phase of going to therapy and writing, I felt really wide open again to express some of these things that had happened to me in the past. And that was sort of the beginning of the record. Like Abandon was kind of the first song that kickstarted the exploration that would become the album. Yeah, that song really cracked open my psyche a bit about like what the album could be. So I would say the first half of the album sort of explores my past, some traumas I had, and then as it gets to the middle and the end of the record, it kind of delves into like love and healing and clarity around and acceptance around my past.
Mm. Yeah,
So
I love that.
that that's what the record really is about for me. There is a story arc to it.
Yeah. So having listened through it, I do this with kind of everybody I have on. I listen through it, and my favorite song is a song called "Head in the Clouds," and I was wondering maybe just a little more backstory on that one in particular, and then kind of twofold with it. What is maybe your favorite song off of the album?
Dead in the Clouds is in my top three. I
Yeah.
love that song so much. I mean, it's really just about, for me, that song exemplifies like a coping mechanism that I have that I've become more aware of, which is like when things are really hard, or someone that you love is sick or in pain. A coping mechanism I have is like to daydream, you know? I think when I wrote that song, there was some really challenging stuff going on with me and my wife, um, and uh, and I was just coping with it by like being a space cadet a bit,
Right.
and um, and I think I'm not alone in that feeling, and um, yeah, that's sort of where that one came from. But um, I love that one a lot. I love In the Flowers, which is like the ballad at the end of the record. It's
Yeah.
That one just was really fun to really fun to record that one in the studio with the full band. It started as an acoustic guitar and me singing on the demo, but then we just evolved it into this thing. And that one's about the healing powers of Mother Nature. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
spending time outside can really heal the
Mm.
wounds.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Especially, I mean, especially in today's day and age, right, where everything is so attached to some form of technology, right, to be able to just be outside and experience that. I think you're 100% right. It definitely heals. It definitely, I try to make time at least once a year to like literally go offline for a few days out, just out in the woods where there's no cell service or anything like that. I get that. Yeah. And in terms of like aiming for therapy, it's kind of funny. Like we all find ways to like distract ourselves a little bit, right? From our anxiety or from hard stuff we're going through, whether that be daydreaming or, this, that, or the other. I think we all kind of find a form of it one way or another.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
mean, Mother Nature is a great way to do that. Like, I feel like I don't know. I've been trying to like acknowledge it. Like I have anxiety, I have depression, I've struggled with that in the past and stuff. And it's like a character that is just a part of me. And I probably will. I don't believe it's possible to live a life without any anxiety and
right.
fear, because then you wouldn't care about anything, right? You
Mhm.
like we get anxious about the things we care about, I believe. So I think it's for me, I find it helpful to acknowledge it, but to not let it steer the ship, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
And that's such a tough thing to do, isn't it? Like you can really very, very quickly, again, as someone who also suffers from the same things, right? It's very anxiety could take the wheel really fast and all of a sudden you're in quite the spiral or this, 10 other things going on that, you weren't sure were even there to begin with. So it's funny how that works. So you've been releasing music now for 5 years or so, I believe.
Yeah.
How has like your process changed over those 5 years? Like, what have you learned, and what have you changed kind of over the years in terms of just your approach to making music?
Well, at the beginning, like in the pandemic, when I started Windsor, I was just experimenting and putting songs out. I put out a couple singles and it was completely self-contained. Like I was doing it all on my own on a computer with like whatever gear I had around. But for the album, I had the luxury of like inviting in a group of musicians that I really respect to help play the parts with me. And that was a huge evolution because it used to just be me in a room with a guitar and like a couple microphones, like recording the songs. But I wanted the album to feel like an evolution from how I did things in 2021 because so much time has passed. And so I got to play with some incredible musicians in the studio, and we all set up in this gorgeous studio in LA, mic'd everything up, and just like had a musical conversation, and that I hadn't done in the past. It used
Yeah,
to be very like insular, and I think the writing style hasn't changed all that much. Like I found
yeah,
a way to write the songs on my own and with like one or two other collaborators, but mostly it's just me in my shed writing songs,
right.
you
Does
know?
it does writing like that feel? I mean, obviously you probably tried both, but does it feel better just writing on your own, or you does the collaborative process like kind of add something at times?
Collaborative process is a mirror, you know? Um, it's having someone that can call you out if you're like doing something that's maybe not going to be as cool as you think it is. Um, but I do feel like when I write alone, I get to this very peaceful, introspective state that I can't as easily access when someone else is in the room.
Mm. Is it like a comfortability
Yeah.
situation? Yeah,
Yeah, it's comfort. So I have one other person that I've written that I wrote Head in the Clouds with Jackson Phillips, my friend. He makes music as Daywave. So Daywave and we've done a lot of collaborations together, and so we keep writing together because that feels good.
yeah,
But it's hard to kind of let new collaborators in. But I try it sometimes.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
I mean, obviously, there's like that. I have it too. Like that one or two people that you're like super comfortable with will bounce anything off of, and then yeah, it's kind of like letting like something you care about very, very deeply, like letting a stranger into that is a little weird at times. I get it. Um, so when you recorded it, was it an all like one take situation, or is it 'cause that's like pretty popular now in the like folk space for sure, is one take, everybody in the room kind of situation. Was it like that, or just more the traditional way of, yeah, everybody kind of recorded their part and laid over?
we had a hybrid version of that, I would say. It was cool. Like the session guys would come in, drummer, keyboardist, another guitar player, and a bass player, and me on rhythm guitar. So we were like a five-piece band. Everyone would show up at the studio same time every day for about 8 or 9 days, and we'd listen to the demos. The musicians had never heard the song until that day, so they had no time to like preconceive what they were gonna do. Which was a purposeful choice. We wanted them to feel like they could express themselves in the songs
Yeah,
and do what they do best. Um, and then they would listen to it once or twice, figure out like the structure of the song and what they could add to it. Then we talk about the song, like the intention behind the song, what we were trying to achieve. And then go into the room and do like two or three takes. Everyone had their own stations kind of in the studio, isolated from one another. And then we played through the song two or three times and then move on to the next song.
amazing.
And then I spent about a month recording the vocals
Okay,
for the whole album.
yeah, love it. I think that yeah, I mean, the hybrid process sounds interesting, honestly. I never, I mean, I'm not in this super long, I suppose, but it's a new way of doing it, from the people that I've spoken to, at least in the past. So that's cool.
That's cool.
I dig it. So,
Yeah.
obviously being an artist nowadays, comes with what feels like 100 different side jobs on top of just being a musician. Um, how do you manage that in just your mental space, right? Like all these different hats that you have to wear.
Oh, like social media
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
touring
sure.
and
Everything that it entails, right?
oh man, how that's a great question because I think it's ever evolving. Like, yeah, like my relationship with social media. I think right now I'm just trying to have fun with it and not overthink it too hard.
Mhm.
Um, and not compare. And I think another part of like the balance is like taking time to like recharge. Because not only is it like you're playing, like I'm playing super personal music every night on the road, but and that's a drain. But there's also, yeah, there's like, how do we afford certain things? My team and I have to like discuss that. So I think taking time away from devices, like what we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
spending time in nature, like proper recharge time where I'm
Hmm.
not just like a machine where I'm like writing, recording, touring, developing the social media,
Right.
doing all of that at once, shooting videos. I think yeah, it's just like for me, I think spending time in nature really grounds me. And then I can come at my job in like the best way possible,
Yeah.
you
100%.
know.
Heard.
Eating healthy and exercising a ton too.
Did or does the social media part of being an artist, does that come naturally to you? I'm not sure exactly how old you are, but like maybe you just grew up with social media, so maybe it's a little easier. I'm not sure.
Um, I think when I'm not consuming other people's
Mm.
social media content, I think then it comes easier. Then I'm like more tapped into who I am and I'm not like second guessing things. But um, I don't think it comes naturally to me. I think I like having help with that stuff. Um, yeah, being creative comes naturally to me. So if there's room to be creative within the social media, then yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, and I feel like it's tough for artists too, because like you have to, you're very confined to like a box of like, here's my new music, and like how many different ways can I frame new music to people, and I can imagine that being really straining at times, especially for people who are like super creative, obviously as artists are, like that must feel constraining at times.
Yeah, because sometimes the niche algorithm that your music falls into and the social media that the algorithm wants you to make
Mm.
for it
Hmm.
isn't really how you want to express yourself.
Right.
So I think that's hard.
Yeah.
But also I think I'm just at a place now that the record's out and I'm going on tour this summer that it just takes time for people to find things because
Yeah.
we're also inundated with this like mass flood of information,
Yeah.
and I'm never trying to oversell myself super hard. If people mess with it, then that's cool.
Yeah.
They're invited. It's an
Right.
all-inclusive. A Windsor show is like it's an all-inclusive environment. Everyone who's,
That's
everyone's
such a
invited.
that's a tough thing. Like I know I personally struggle with it, is like feeling like I'm inundating people with like myself. I'm kind of in the same notion, right? If people mess with like what I do, they mess with it. If not, like cool, chill, do what you want. Such a weird place. So like when you released your album, right, was there like a wave of anxiety that came with releasing it, or was it like you
Yes.
felt really good about it being out there?
Oh, it honestly, leading up, I was so nervous. I was
Hmm.
building up all this stuff in my head. I was like, it's my first album. Like, what's gonna happen? Like, I hope people like it. I think because songs are so personal, I was just like, I hope people like my heart. I
Right.
hope they see it and oh, sorry.
You're
I
good.
hope they see it and
Right.
receive it. I got you on my phone.
Yeah.
I hope they see and receive my storytelling and
Hmm.
I hope they mess with it. But I built that up in my head really like intensely and but now that it's out, I just feel so good. Like I, I did an interview the other day where I talked about how the release felt like a release, like truly,
Yeah.
and I'm just so happy it's out because now people can put it on and listen to the whole record all the way through and just get all the sides of it and pick their favorite tracks and, you know.
Are you a have to listen through an album the whole way through, or a singles, because it's so funny. Like today, I feel like listening to it through an entire album feels like almost lost at times. Are you a person who has to sit down and like sit with an album when you listen to it, or are you like passively listening to like, your day lists on Spotify kind of situation?
I think different albums require a different set of listening. Like, oh man, I was hanging out with my wife's parents this weekend, and they're like, put on something like mellow. So I put on this album, Music for Airports by Brian Eno.
Mhm.
It's like an early ambient record. It's really cool because it's all like tape loops and stuff, and it's early like electronic ambient music, and that one was totally background. Like that's background music.
Sure.
But but when I listen to like In Rainbows, you know,
You have to like sit with it.
it's kind of like a heady album, so I like to listen to it all the way through.
Mm.
But I
Yeah.
enjoy singles too. I don't
Right.
think there's any right or wrong way. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a purist about it.
That's good. Yeah. I don't. It's hard to be a purist one way or the other. I think you kind of have to kind of accept the way like people are going to find music how they find it, right? Um.
Yeah.
So you've been releasing music for 5 years. What out of all that music, what's the song you're most proud of?
Oh man. Well, the song that kind of jettisoned the project, I'm still super proud of it. This is my song Memory off the EP. I'm really proud of that song because it was a song that I wrote for a friend of mine that I lost in high school. Um, and I didn't think that anyone would care about a song about my friend who passed away. I really didn't think they would care, but I love how it came out. I love how the journey it was to get it to the end. Um, I love the lyrics of that song and just how it sounds, and I'm just proud of how that particular song helped blow the project up in a bigger way. Like
Yeah.
it got played on the radio a bunch, and it made people take it more seriously. And I'm proud of that one because it was like not it wasn't like I was swinging for the fences with it, but people really responded to the message of it. And those are the songs I'm most proud of, are the ones that I like that just came easy, but then like Lose You off the new record. That one was another collaboration with Daywave, and we wrote it so fast, and it came out so catchy, I think, and um it's a real raw, vulnerable song about unrequited love and watching a relationship, you know, potentially fall apart. And I think I'm proud of the vulnerability in that one too.
Yeah. And it just goes to show, like, I think every artist has kind of echoed this sentiment in one way or another. Is like, the music, once you let it go, it's for everybody else, and they're going to interpret it the way they interpret it, and you're never going to know what is going to be, big off an album or not, right? It's the funny thing about being an artist, I think, is like you could
You
love
have
one
no
song and
idea
yeah, it's completely not guesswork, but it's completely random. I think that's the cool part about it.
when you don't when you don't try. It's interesting when you just let the idea flow through you. I think Rick Rubin said something about that. You know, we're all just ideas are very fluid. They're kind of floating in the ether, I believe, and if you go for it and you're open to receiving the idea, it'll come to you. Um, but yeah, when you don't try super hard and you're just yourself, that's when things get interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I genuinely agree. So I live my life in music curation at this point, right? So I always love asking, give me a song, an artist that everybody should be listening to.
Oh, let me think about that one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's like so many, right? But just
Yeah, yeah. I'm
it's
like,
tough.
oh man, that was Phoebe Lou.
Amazing.
I checked her out recently, and it was just like her music's so soothing, and um, I think she's based in Berlin. But I just discovered her recently, and I really like her stuff. And in terms of like bands, a band that I love, oh, there's a really fun surf rock band from my hometown. um, that I've been really enjoying that I think more people should get hip to is this band Trestles from
Okay.
Santa Cruz. They're
Nice.
really great.
Yeah. Surf rock.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
they're just like a
amazing.
surf rock band
Yeah.
from, yeah,
Love it. Um,
yeah.
so I guess, I mean, kind of wrapping up, like what's on the horizon for you? You got tour coming up, obviously the album's out, but what's next?
Album's out. I got a show at the Head and the Heart in upstate New York end of
Amazing.
July.
Love it.
So that'll be really fun. I'm a huge fan of the Head and the Heart. And then I'm doing a tour with this artist, and we're doing a full US tour, um, mid-August to mid-September. And then I've got some shows with this band, The Main, in October. And then I'm playing a headline show in my hometown of Santa Cruz, November 8th. And November 7th, I'm supporting the band Beach Weather.
Mm,
So
amazing.
just a lot of
Busy.
shows, a lot of
Yeah.
shows towards the till the end of the year, and then when I have time in between, just writing the next album.
Love it. I love it, man. I'm excited for you and can't wait to see what's next, honestly. And good luck on the tour. I had some big artists that you'll be playing with and should be amazing. I
Gotta have you
appreciate
out
you
to
taking the time.
We gotta have you out to a show sometime, Matt.
I love it,
Yeah,
genuinely. Yeah, I appreciate you
you're
taking
in
the time.
Pennsylvania,
I
right?
am, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm closest to Philly.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Sick, man.
Thank you for having me,
Yeah,
Matt. Big
dude.
fan of what you do.
I appreciate that, genuinely. Yeah.
Yeah.